there just comes a point in time for some people where you just realize that you need to be the number one person. I knew that. I knew that eventually I needed to be the number one person. I needed to be the captain of the ship. I did not want to have to answer to anybody. And that's not coming from an arrogant or a standpoint where I cannot be led, because for many years, I spent time as the follower. I spent time as the student. I spent time as the understudy. I soaked up the knowledge. I didn't do so prematurely. I waited until I was in a position where I deserved to take the reins of my own career, of my own company, be that number one guy. And I think you have a realization. Sometimes you just see things and you're able to foresee, at least that's what I was able to see in the future, that if I'm in situations like this consistently, it's just not going to work out for me. So for example, this was probably 2005. I was a file clerk at a law firm, and there was one of the partners in the tax department, and I have no idea to this day. I don't know if I ever knew, but I don't remember why this happened. But this partner ended up flipping out. He ended up yelling, just literally screaming at his secretary, to the point where she ended up in tears, and I think she ended up having to take the rest of the day off. And to my understanding, nothing ever became of that. It was sort of written off as, well, this dude is a partner. This guy brings in a lot of business. So I don't know what his book was, but he brings in a lot of business. This sort of thought of, that's just the way things are. What can you do? And I just remember just thinking to myself, like who the do you think you are? Like, what makes you think that it's okay just because you have a couple of degrees on your wall, just because you have this title, you're a lawyer, you're a partner in a law firm, that you feel like you can, talk to people in this way. And I felt like that. And at that point, I only had my college degree. I just graduated from college. I was in the in-between stage between college and law school. But now, after well over a decade into being an attorney, I can say, and I've had, a bunch of employees, interns, assistants over the years, and I have never been disrespectful towards any of them. I wouldn't, in my wildest dreams, yell at, someone who works for me in that way. And it's just unacceptable. And I just, that's just an example of the conflicts that you can end up being faced with when when you're not in control of the situation. And I imagine, you end up having to deal, you find your way to navigate your way through and be a good person and all of that. But if I was just consistently in a position where I didn't have control over certain outcomes like that, that would just continue to upset me. In addition to, eventually wanting to see things go in a certain way and knowing that I would have to keep my mouth shut on a lot of different things, because it's just not my place to question the boss or question the main partner until, I get there. And I just didn't have any interest in waiting, another 10, 20, however many years to get there, if I got there. You know what I mean? Because there's also the concept that I may not get there for whatever reason. If I rub somebody the wrong way, somebody doesn't like, the way I look, somebody doesn't like the way I talk, somebody just doesn't like my style. It could be any number of reasons. I'm a DJ, somebody can say, well, we don't really care for that here, whatever it could be. And so that's, if you have those similar type feelings, you might be in a position where eventually you need to be the captain of your own ship.